Presented by Prize Picks. Get $50 instantly when you play your first $5. Welcome to Light Years. Andy Lou, I am in parts unknown right now. As I got the remote setup. I'm in a dungeon somewhere.
You look good. Look good.
Hopefully the audio is good. I think the audio is good, and I think that's
Great.
all that matters right now. I wish I could do something better with the lighting for those of you watching this. I can't, so just enjoy making fun of me.
People come to Light Years to look at us, Sam. That's what they come to. They come to Light Years.
The most visually appealing podcast on the internet.
Yes.
Just,
I think better. I would say better than a lot of NBA media. Gas ourselves. Gas. Come on. Look good. The beard looks good. Come on. All right.
So much effort with the background and the studio setup going on here. Yeah, conference finals are starting. No Warriors in them. I was talking with you about it. If the Warriors were going to get eliminated, I kind of feel like second round is like optimal for the pod. Because you lose in the play-in, it's just like I can only talk about should they trade for Miles Turner so many times, and 3 straight months of it's a little much. Right now, it's like, we get to watch some good basketball, the Final Four. Then next thing you know, it's draft and free agency season. Like it's honestly, it's heating up pretty quick.
I also think like the Warrior, you never want to see your team lose, but only one team wins. If you were to lose one way and still kind of feel good about your team, I think the Warriors lost probably in the best way possible. Like, was anybody really that sad? I don't know. I know I've missed about a week here. I missed the last couple of shows. Shout out to Tommy for taking over and you for running it as always. But it's like, it doesn't feel like they lost, right? I think part of it's painful because it's like, they should have won if Steph was healthy. But it's like, and Reese asked me yesterday, just real quickly. She was like, "Do you think we would have beaten the Thunder?" And I'm like, "No, because they would have played every other night, and I don't think Steph and Jimmy are making it in that series." So I would have probably preferred if they didn't have to play every other night against the Thunder, who are all 22 years old and probably was gonna beat them in 6. Yeah, exactly.
It's not even that they're all young, because Caruso's not young. I mean, they're just it's a mix of depth and youth. So, I mean, that kind of dovetails into kind of Warriors off season. I do think the Warriors would have beat the Wolves if Steph never got hurt, but you could see this thing was dying a slow depth because they didn't have enough bodies. Obviously, Jimmy getting hurt, breaking his ass in the first round didn't help, but it was always just going to kind of be a slow burn because they were like in a 6-man rotation at maybe 7, and even guys who are in their prime like Denver, it's hard to only have a 6-man rotation, much less when you're talking about 3 guys in their mid-30s. So, I think we enter this offseason, and topic today is like biggest needs for this team. Before we get to that, I kind of want to ask you, there's kind of a more overarching meta question here. Does this team build around their current big 3 contract guys, Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond, and kind of just look at how can we add depth? How can we add around this? Or should they be star hunting? Because, Jimmy had a good playoffs when he was healthy, but he also left some to be desired at the end of the Wolves series. And Draymond just flat out did not have a good Wolves series. I don't know how else to put it. Yeah. So you could argue, well, yeah, you lose Steph. You have too many young guys who've never played in the playoffs before, or if they have, it's been like 10 minutes here and there. And you add some vets and they're not going to look as bad, Draymond and Jimmy. Or you could argue, man, a year older next year, should this team be looking in a different direction? I feel like that's the first question the Warriors got to answer. Do they want to commit to this 3 and try to get the best possible roster to support it? Or do they want to be like, look, Jimmy was good for us, but if we could flip him right now, we sell high, let's do something good. Or Draymond's good, but Jimmy kind of does a lot of the same things as him. So now's the time to move Draymond. You know what I'm saying?
Well, this is the biggest question right now that you can go into. And I think we'll know the answer I don't know how quick. Maybe you can answer it, but I think it depends on this because it really is on one name, right? Isn't it really only one name that matters? Because 95% chance that this team is going to come back with those three guys. 95% chance. But Joe Lacob and Mike Dunleavy and well, those two guys are going to sit there and say, well, if we have a chance at Giannis, like we're going to get Giannis. If Giannis wants to come to the Warriors are not saying no. They'd be ridiculous for them to say no, right? So I think that's it. Other than that, Sam, you can't throw me a name that I would tell you the Warriors should trade Jimmy for that guy, realistically, or Draymond for that guy, realistically. I don't
Zion
for Draymond.
I mean, either or. I'm like, honestly, I'm doing this in real time. So Giannis is the headline name of the offseason.
Yep.
I'm just trying to think of other star caliber players who might be available. And so I don't even know if Zion's available, but we've heard the rumors about them wanting to move on
per whatever reports you would.
Yeah, because I think we both agree if you can get Giannis, you put whatever plans you have on hold and you deal with that first, you know. I'm just kind of treating it as a look. We've talked about Giannis to the Warriors for like 6 years now, pretty much since KD left, pretty much since 2019, and he's always been a loyal to Milwaukee guy. It seems like time's officially run out there for reasons out of his control. It's kind of one of those, like, if they can get him, but like I'm not too optimistic.
Yeah. So other than that, it's like. Other than that, then no, right? I mean, like, because look, they put Jimmy on the back burner for Kevin Durant. Like they were ready to give everything up for Kevin Durant.
Oh, right? I guess that's the other name. What about KD?
Wow,
what
doesn't KD not want to be here?
Let's say that if that changes,
would it be for Jimmy? Would it be right? If that's the case, yes, Sam, I'd do it. Like, well, of course.
Or for Draymond, they go with the Draymond and Kuminga and poo-poo platter of picks.
I mean, I'd do that too, because you'd have to do that. And maybe Phoenix convinces themselves that, you know, they can still win now with Draymond, with Devin Booker,
or they just send Draymond to a third team to save tax money, and they're like, Kuminga, let's see what you got, bro.
Yeah.
This is what Devin Booker been waiting for.
I mean, maybe they'll trade Devin Booker. But I think more likely, and I agree with you, it's just those three guys are going to be back. They're talking like those three guys are going to be back. Outside of Giannis showing up to San Francisco in late May for no reason, I don't.
Did you see him at Beta Breakers over the weekend? Yeah, anyone listening to this has for sure seen the Reddit pictures of him at the Ritz. So you don't need to act like it's a state secret. What do you think he was doing? You think he's here to see the Giants and Royals? Big Bobby Witt guy? Hey, Bobby Witt's fucking good, man.
He's here to see Wilmer Flores. I have no idea why. I don't know. I mean, San Francisco's really nice right now. Weather's nice. I don't know.
It is very nice in the city right now. Once you get over the fact that it's, you know, crime infested, I get mugged every corner. Nah, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I was gonna say I heard people don't visit San Francisco anymore, so it's like, why else would he come, right? It's got to be. And why is he in SF? Wouldn't he be visiting Menlo? Has he got
a new startup?
Yeah,
he's got to start. Well, you got to fly through. You got to fly through some airport.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know what's going on, Sam. I don't know what's going on, but I'm with you. It's unlikely, right? So other than Giannis saying I want to go to the Warriors, it's
checking out Pacific Catch, former sponsor.
It's a good Greek.
Welcome back.
You know.
Yeah. I guess the question for me is, where's the line? I think what you're saying is top 15 player ish.
Yep.
Makes you reassess the core. So if you can get if KD changes his mind, we're exploring it. Because there is an argument to be made that if they break up the core and they have to attach picks and Kuminga to Draymond to get like a Kevin Durant. And this all is hypothetical and assumes he wants to come here. I have zero reason to believe he would. But if he was to come here, I would think it would be in the situation where it's Steph and Jimmy and it's not like Draymond and well, we know about that. And, like it's a different situation. You could make the argument that the price to get him would be so like you just be in a similar situation where you got 3 dudes and Moses Moody and Quentin Post,
You are right. You are right. So it would, and Jimmy's the contract that's the easiest one, right? Because Jimmy's got the big $60 million contract where it just automatically fits, and you can throw however many picks you need, like you talked about, and get that done. And then maybe you still have some flexibility on the mid-level exceptions and stuff like that. But you're right. I mean, if you got to include Kuminga and stuff like that, which you probably would, like then it gets tricky if you have to stay under the first apron. Things get tricky. How much can you actually add? How much better is KD than Jimmy? I mean, he is, right? Stuff like that. I do think the Giannis one, though, like I keep going back to that one. I think no matter what you do it doesn't really matter, because here's the thing.
Because he's 30, because you got 5.
Forget
Steph, which I hate to say, but like
you
have a little more of a runway to figure it out.
And that's why Joe would be all in. I mean, he would say, okay, like they've been thinking about after Steph for so long and we've been angry about it, but this is the one where you'd be, I mean, it's like the Luka trade. I mean, it's like Luka going to LA where it's like, okay, well, we don't really have to think about LeBron's thing anymore. We've got Luka for the next 10 years. Like we're good. We'll be in the playoffs for the next 10 years, no matter what. And same with Giannis, like you'll be in the playoffs probably the next 5-6 plus years with Giannis. Yeah, easily.
You can put an average team around him and he'll get him to the playoffs.
Yep.
They might not go anywhere, which is what Milwaukee is doing, but they get there, So
right, better than right now. The Warriors 3 years from now, who knows? Right, like the future 3 years from now is like
about to go watch some U15, figure out who might be that number 1 pick because they're gonna have it.
Better go watch some Valkyries. You know what I mean? Like I just where are they gonna be at? So yeah, I think that's it. I'm more interested in the likely scenario, which is who they're gonna get around those guys and the options. Because yeah, man, Giannis, like Winters was saying, like if Giannis wants to come to the Warriors, and Sam, we do 10,000 emergency podcasts right away.
Yeah.
But before that happens, I think it's isn't it more interesting? Probably more interesting to see how they speak around those guys.
Because the reality is, if Giannis is on the open market, the Warriors have at best this like 5th best offer, maybe the 8th best offer.
Yeah, I was like say maybe 8th.
Because like it just the Spurs can give them so much stuff, like the Thunder have endless things. The Rockets have a bunch of picks. The Warriors, like they have all these scenarios. So then the Warriors are just kind of like, it has to be the, Giannis, I'm only going here and you will respect my wishes because I gave you a title type of hardball. And then it gets difficult. But anyway, I agree with you. I'd rather explore the scenario of what can we do around Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond to put a title contender, because I do believe they can build a title contender around those 3 old guys.
Yep.
I really do believe they can. I don't think it's the easiest thing to do, but I do think it's doable. They've built multiple titles around Steph without a true second option. Say what you want about Clay, one of the greatest shooters of all time, but he's not a traditional second option. Kevin Durant's like a traditional second option. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And like Jordan Poole, not a traditional second option. Andrew Wiggins, not a traditional second option. Jimmy Butler is also not a traditional second option. And I do think they can build around it because the way they play, because of how unique Steph is. But you got to have like the perfect fit.
I think they can build around it too, because they are probably most willing right now to build around this core than we've probably ever seen, outside of Joe Lacob saying I'll pay X amount of money because we're in the middle of this crazy dynasty run, and he's just like, I'll just pay whatever. DeMarcus Cousins will give you the mid-level exception and pay whatever taxes on it because who gives a shit? We're going to win a title anyway. I know they didn't win, but they would have if guys stayed healthy, right? So he just did not care. I think this offseason, I think to set it up, this is probably the first time I think they actually have a chance to not care about the future, because they have 2 years left. They're telling us they have 2 years left. They know what they need to build around the roster. We'll get into it later in the podcast. There's no more effing around, right? There's no more, what do we do about Wiseman? There's no more Kuminga. What do we do about Kuminga? Like, he's probably gone, right? There's no more, like, any of this stuff. Those are the two big pillars. Nothing else. There's no first round draft pick, right? There's no, they're not going to draft the guy 12th that we have to watch. Thank God. None of that stuff. It's just
Joe's just got like the heart-shaped eyes, like the future.
Oh my God, can't do it. No more. Pods, Moody, fine. They fit regardless. I think if they're back, great. If not, let's see what you can get, right? But those guys are going to fit if you have this team. So, Sam, I think this is the most exciting offseason, honestly. The most exciting offseason that I've seen for this team in a long, long time because like they just know what they need and they have the stuff to get good players.
It does feel like there's alignment between ownership to the coaching staff, which there has not been for majority of the last 6 years. I feel like the front office just lived in a fantasy land where like you could develop a guy like Kuminga and compete at the same time. And the coaching staff had to deal with kind of the unrealistic expectations there. Anyway, guys, springtime is here, and now is the time to join Prize Picks, the best place to cash in on your favorite sports. On Prize Picks, you can mix and match player projections from different sports, combine your favorite baseball players with players from basketball, hockey, esports, and more. We are recording this before Game 1 of Thunder Wolves. I'm not playing that one, but you bet your money I'm taking the over on every Tyrese Halliburton. I'm taking the over on everything. I think this is going to be the Tyrese Halliburton series. I'm picking the Pacers to beat the Knicks. Sorry, New York.
I agree.
Sorry, New York. Those are my guys. The trade machine Warriors are going to get it done. Get it done today. But Prize Picks makes it fun because the Warriors aren't in it, and if nothing else, it's just fun to have a rooting interest. Like, hey, I need Halliburton to hit the over on or get more than like 38 points, rebounds, and assists combined, or whatever it is. I think that's what the line is right now. Anyway, make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports takes into real money all season long. The app is really easy to use to create a lineup. You just have to pick more or less on a few player stats for your shot to win. Download the app today. Use the code LIGHTYEARS to get $50 instantly after your first $5 lineup. That's code LIGHTYEARS. Get $50 instantly after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
All right, here we go. We are Light Years Podcast, brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets. I'm here to tell you about our favorite app, Hall of Fame Bets, started by two lifelong sports fans and Ivy League grads. They make parlay research smarter, faster, and data-driven. The Hall of Fame app gives you access to advanced stats, historical data, and powerful tools to help you bet smarter. So listen, instead of like sitting there and just kind of looking at numbers and making something up and hoping it hits, this app is actually built for the everyday sports fan. Easy to use. You'll get an idea of your parlay's chance to hit and identify weak legs so you can weed them out before you place them. I myself has used the app for the NBA, MLB. MLB is my thing this season. It's honestly the easiest place that I've seen help me build my parlay. And the best part, once you've built your parlay, you can send it straight to your sports book with one click, no manual entry, no wasted time. The Hall of Fame app syncs automatically with most major sports books. Hall of Fame isn't just about parlays. It's built for player props. You got game lines, totals, and more. So you got tools to break down trends, spot value, and make smarter bets across every major market. I mean, like Sam was saying, you could literally use it on the Thunder and the Wolves tonight. For a limited time only, our listeners not only get a 7-day free trial, but they also get 50% off their first month when they use the code LIGHTYEARS at checkout. So download the Hall of Fame app on iOS or Android. Enter code LIGHTYEARS, 7-day free trial, and 50% off the first month. And you're all set.
Are the Warriors going to get Derek White, and how many picks will it cost? No. You're already starting to hear names. Derek White is an interesting one for sure. I guess before we get into players, because I know you like Derek White. I love Derek White. But that's neither here nor there. If there was a specific type of player you think this team should prioritize around Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond, what is it?
I can't believe you gave the answer away. I think I think going back to what made the Warriors great, it was Draymond Green at the 5. And I agree, they need a center. That's not my first pick. My first pick is someone that's a similar player to who are the guys that were around Steph and Draymond. It was Klay Thompson. It was Andre Iguodala. It was Sean Livingston. It was Harrison Barnes. Obviously, it was KD. But let's just take him out of it. It was Andre Iguodala. What is the, I think, main through line for all those guys? They're not 6'4". They're not 6'3". They're not 6'5". They're 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", massive wingspans, can play defense, shoot a little bit. That's the guys that the Warriors need. Now, everybody in the NBA needs them, Sam. Everybody wants those guys. But the Warriors have had a dearth of those guys for what it feels like forever, dude, forever. And I would like the Warriors to not start a lineup where they have multiple guys under 6'6", 6'7". The only guy that should be under that height next season, going into the season, Steph Curry. Other than that, Sam, my goal, what I hope, is for this team to have 5 players, 6 players, 7 players that are all over 6'6", 6'7". That's number one. I don't even know how tall Derek White is. Maybe he's not even, but he's that.
Derek White's 6'2", dude.
He plays like he's 6'6" versus what.
How tall is Caruso?
How tall is Caruso? I don't even know.
6'3".
He just guarded Jokic, so he might be like 6'9", to be honest, because he could guard Jokic. But it's he's like 6'3". But like, I think the point is though, like the Warriors have had small guys that play small. Those guys play big, and that's I think the difference. Kuminga,
yeah, they're
play small. Okay, all right, but like
no, it's
long, but doesn't really move well, right? Pods kind of tall, but like doesn't play big because he's not 6'7". So yeah, but yeah, go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm less concerned. So
you need the guys.
To me, what they need, they obviously need more positional size. They say that every offseason. I say that every offseason. Everyone says every offseason. It's the number one thing anyone says. To me, what they really need is a true 3-and-D guy. And I'm open. I'm open to the idea that it could be a guard/forward type, or it could be a big wing type, or it could be a center. But they truly need a guy who can defend multiple positions and hits open shots and fits around the 3 core guys, period. A guy who, no matter what scenario, if they're healthy, they're in your 5-man closing lineup. That's it. Like, you don't even think twice, You're just like, okay, well, they're out there. Are we going to play big or are we going to play small? The 5th guy will determine that, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of different ways they can go about it, but if they waste the Kuminga sign and trade or the mid-level exception or whatever, their like number one avenue for bringing a player who makes more than $5 million. So someone's going to get like 15 to 20, like real money. It needs to be someone who you and I don't even think twice about them being in the closing lineup. And they need to be someone who plays off ball. In other words, they can shoot the ball a little bit. Actually, ideally with Jimmy and Draymond, they can shoot the ball a lot of it. And they can defend multiple positions. So that's like my fancy way of saying, you could talk me into Cam Johnson. He's a legit 6'9", and he can shoot it as well as anyone. You can also talk me into Derek White. He's only 6'3", 6'2", but he guards 3 positions, and he really guards. And he randomly now shoots it as well.
He doesn't play like, first of all, he's 6'4". I mean, we're messing around with inches now, but he plays like he's 6, and that's the point. Like, he's one of the best shot blocking guards that you've got in the entire NBA. Like, that's like,
he's got like a 6'10" wingspan. So yeah,
exactly.
I get what you're saying.
That's like the Draymond thing, right? So I agree with you 100%. Andrew Wiggins, like, that's the guy they lost, right? Like, it's like a perfect kind of like that type of player. Now obviously you have to trade him to get Jimmy, but dude, that would be the best case, man. Like, that would be,
yeah. I mean,
they need that guy so badly, because isn't that what was missing when they shot? They couldn't make any threes. Like, they were just one guy, just make a 3.
Knicks got a couple of them: Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby. Yep. Maybe OG's a little less consistent of an outside shooter, but he's also on a completely different level defensively. So he's huge. He's 6'9", 7'4" wingspan. might be 250 pounds. Like, not a lot of wings who can match LeBron physically. So, yeah, I mean, to me, like, I think we're going to go back to Cam Johnson. I think it's hard to watch the Warriors play with the attention Steph gets and how good Jimmy is at leveraging the paint. And basically, if you give him a one-on-one, he's going to either take a layup or get to the free throw line. And if you send a second guy at him, he's going to kick out to shooters, And what's frustrating is they didn't have the shooters to cash in on those looks. But if you put someone like Cam Johnson on the weak side, I mean, what are you going to do? If you single cover Steph, he's going to score. If you double Steph, and he's going to get it to Jimmy, who's going to get into the paint. And if you send another guy or stop Jimmy, he's going to find the open shooter. It's unguardable. It's unguardable. You're basically just praying that they have a bad shooting night with that type of thing. So from an offensive standpoint, like that's huge for me. Now on the defensive side, I also agree with you. They just need the Thunder. The Thunder are getting by with 4 guards because the guards they play are all long and they're all dogs. They're all like Lou Dort's a football player. Caruso might be the best defensive guard in the league.
And the Warriors really wanted him, right? Who else?
Drew Holiday actually giving up that title. So,
I think the team to me because the Thunder is like, they got development and they can draft, right? But how about a team because here's what I'm kind of basing it off of, right? Like, I'm thinking of the Clippers. They've got all these guys that, like, because Cam Johnson,
like Derrick Jones,
exactly, because Cam Johnson is like the prototype. Like, he's 22 million. I don't even know if the Nets want to trade him. Everybody wants him, but like Derrick Jones, nobody really wanted him. Nicolas Batum, old as hell. I'm not saying you get him, but he's old as hell. Chris Dunn, nobody wanted him. Right? Like, so they got like multiple guys on the team.
Those were shrewd moves. Yeah.
That were not necessarily people wanted, but also like not super high upside, but they can defend. They can play a role. They can stick a 3. Like Derrick Jones, I don't really trust him making a 3, Sam, but like he'll make some, right? And so the Warriors have like that type of guy as GP2. But GP2, how tall is he? 6'1", 6'2", right? And Derrick Jones is 6 freaking, I don't, and his arms are 7 feet.
6'5". He's built like a normal wing.
They need those,
or like an actual wing,
actual big wing. Like they need those guys. Where multiple of those guys, where my bar is lower than yours. Give me 2 or 3 of those guys where they may not be the perfect players. Yeah, they fucking need both. You're gonna say they both. That is freaking true.
I would say the reason I don't like your Clippers analogy is because the Clippers 3 core guys are better offensively. Like, okay, Steph's better than everyone, but like Kawhi can shoot from everywhere. Harden can shoot from anywhere, unless of course it's an important game. And Zubac is really skilled. Draymond has no offensive skill. Like, Draymond's not a scorer, period. Right? And Jimmy, he's a better offensive player than he gets credit for, but there are limitations to him offensively too. He's more of a passer, he's more of a, I'm going to score 18 points, 7 free throw attempts, a few bullshit like layups, stuff like that, and like 7 assists than like a bucket getter from 3 levels, right? That's why I feel like they need a complementary player who truly can shoot the ball. That, like, more so than the Clippers, who kind of just needed goons who could play off of Kawhi and Harden, because those 3 guys are going to take a combined 60 shots. How many shots does Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond take? 30, with 20 of them coming from Steph. I don't know. So I think the Warriors do need a little more offense from their supporting players than the Clippers. But I also agree with you in the big picture, which is like, okay, but they also have to be able to get defense too. So that's why I'm like so big on, like, they need that one true 3-and-D guy, the Andrew Wiggins. Wiggins, it was not really number 1 pick, but like, he's another Mikal Bridges or OG Anunoby. He can hit open shots. He can defend. You wouldn't think twice about him being in the closing lineup. He's always in the closing lineup, right? They need one of those, and then they need to find, like you said, the Chris Dunn, where everyone's like not looking at him, but you throw him on this team, he can actually be pretty effective.
I think also the other, they need a lot. And then there's the other part of this, which is they need a big. And what are the options to get a big? And we're not asking for a great big. If you were to rank what they need number one, I'm with you. Get the guy that can actually shoot. Get the guy that can defend enough in the team space. He can play well. But you also need, and this is something I think Warriors fans and Warriors have I think not understood the last couple of years. You guys need 82 game players. You don't have enough 16 game players. You also don't have enough 82 game players. Draymond got cooked by Julius Randle. I think half the reason was he was just cooked. He was exhausted. He was done because all he did was play the 40 minutes a game. Go get him a big. And you and I have sat here and talked about this. The big doesn't have to play 30 minutes a game. Honestly, it's preferred that he doesn't. If you can get a Zubac, fine. It's not happening. But can you get a big that'll just play 18 or 22 minutes? Like, please, for the love of God, can you not rely on Trace Jackson Davis? Right? Like, that stuff that's got to go. You came into this dynasty where you had Andrew Bogut. You even have Zaza Pachulia. I don't know if Zaza Pachulia is this like amazing player, but he ate up enough minutes so that Draymond didn't have to play the 5. And some of this maybe
I actually think they're better set up with 82 game players than you're giving them credit for, because I think Post
and Moody are
they're going to fill their role. They're going to bring energy. I think they need, like, what they really need is 3 veterans. And I want
a lot of veterans. Yeah, it's a lot of vets. They need 3.
But they need 3, and I want one of them to be a high level one. So to me, it's like, can you execute the Cam Johnson trade? Can you turn a Kuminga sign and trade into Cam Johnson? Then can you use your taxpayer mid-level? Does that get you Brook Lopez, who at this stage of his career is a 20-minute guy? He's not a 30-minute guy.
That's it.
That's
all
2.
You need from him.
Then can you get Melton back? And can you get him on like a smaller deal because he's coming off of injury, but you're betting that he'll be fine. Now you got 3 veterans. You still got Pods, who will be better next year. You got Quentin Post. Part of the reason I want Brook Lopez is not because I think Quentin Post can turn into Brook Lopez, but I think if there's a player for him to learn how to be a stretch 5, but also hold up defensively, it's probably Brook Lopez. He's slow. He's not a freak athletically. He's just so smart positionally that he makes it work. And Quentin Post, I know he can shoot the ball. So if he can just figure out how to survive defensively, he can play 20 minutes in a regular season game, but to your point, you want that veteran. So you're not entering the season with like Quentin Post better work, or we have no other options. That's it.
What if that's the part where it's like they need 82 game guy. Let me throw you another one. Let me throw you a 4th one. And this is an 82 game guy. They need someone that can score the ball. Steph's going to get hurt next season. Frankly, he shouldn't play 70 plus games again, because we saw what happened this season when he did. He couldn't make it out of the second round. Barely made it out the first. They need someone that can score, that can dribble the ball. Can they get that guy? What if that guy's in place of Cam Johnson? Is that worth it? Maybe not. Right? I'm thinking of like a Kobe White name, right? So it's like they need a guy that when they won the championship, Jordan Poole carried the team down the last 15 games when Steph was out. Steph came back, and then Jordan Poole
the first round. I mean, I don't say carried him in the first round, but he let Steph not have to. I mean,
100%. Right?
They walked through Denver because they could, but they did. Jordan was a big part of that. He was giving them a lot of offense. He allowed Steph to preserve his legs coming off of injury.
So people have thrown his name out, not Jordan, but like Kobe White's name out a lot. Even, real reporters have thrown that name out as someone that Chicago maybe doesn't want to pay. And so maybe, the Warriors can get him last year and then they go pay him after. Do they want to do that? I don't know. But Sam, I think that's one where it's like, maybe the Warriors haven't thought about it. Maybe because they've never really thought about it. Like they've never really wanted a microwave scorer off the bench. But how long can you rely on Steph to just, yes, if Steph is on the court, Cam Johnson is going to get open looks. But when Steph misses, Jimmy's going to miss 25 games. Maybe it's rest, whatever it is, but he's going to miss 25. You need someone to score. And so I think that
30-year pods leap.
Maybe that's it.
Pods.
And maybe they'll tell us
probably
that.
not as a microwave score. Probably not.
Yeah, well, maybe. I mean, he's young, so look, maybe better chance than Moody for sure if Moody's still on the team. So I think that's maybe slotting in right at the top there with you with the 3-and-D guy. Like that's right at the top in terms of importance there.
Yeah, I mean, if they got Kobe White, and I'm, it's not an either or thing, but in some ways it does feel like an either or thing because you're going to need to sweeten a trade package. So whatever you give up for Cam Johnson would be what you probably give up to get Cam, to get Kobe White. So, I mean, he does check two of the boxes. He checks. He's a hell of a shooter. Like he's a real shooter too. So he can play next to Steph. He's a better shooter than Jordan Poole. Not as explosive to the rim, but like just in terms of 3-point percentage, like I don't know, it's like 5 years in a row he shot like 40% on 8 a game. Like that's not. He can shoot the ball for real. And then to your point, he's the type of guy who would allow Steph to play 32 minutes instead of 36, 64 games instead of 74. You know, like those little things matter. Those little things matter. And he's big enough to play next to Steph. I think the real question with him is, you know, can you close with him? I mean, or can you build? Sorry, you obviously can't close with him. Can you build a good enough defense with him and Steph and Jimmy and Draymond and who's that fifth guy? It's I mean, his name's going to come up a lot. I don't know. It's I still kind of side towards the Cam Johnson being the priority because I don't know. They're the only team in the league who apparently can't find a cheap microwave scorer. Every other team in the league can do it, but the Warriors,
I mean, they did, and then he got knocked out. So you're right. I mean, now it's like, can they get someone in the second round? Maybe that can do it. Because the thing is like, and this is the issue.
Go get Dennis Schroeder back. He'll be a free agent.
The issue is the system too, right? That's really part of it. Because you mentioned Dennis Schroeder. Like Dennis Schroeder didn't fit in the system. Now, why didn't he fit in the system? No shooting. There was no shooting. This guy's operating on a phone book. The only person that can operate on a phone book is Steph. And so it's like, it's just not going to work. I know we're going to get to Jimmy later. It's like, oh, why can't you shoot? It's because he didn't fucking, anyone around him can't shoot the goddamn ball. So I don't know what you want Jimmy to do. Do they need to make changes to the system? Maybe, probably not. Steve's probably not going to do it, but can you make changes to the personnel? Yeah, they should. And you mentioned it. The shooting is, I don't know how they have the greatest shooter of all time, and they had Clay, who was the second, third greatest shooter of all time, and you can't find any shooting. So anyway, we'll get to the Jimmy part. Before that, Light Years Podcast, we are brought to you by Via. If you haven't tried Via yet, you are seriously missing out. Whether you need to unwind, refocus, or just pretend you have your life together, Via is here to enhance your every day, and let's be honest, probably your night too. Trusted by over 500,000 happy customers, Via is changing the game in natural wellness, blending powerful, high-quality hemp-derived products to discover real, effect-driven benefits. With products ranging from 0 to high cannabinoid levels, Via lets you fully customize your experience to fit your needs. Via also legally ships across the entire U.S., discreet, direct to your door, no medical card required. And if you're not sure where to start, take the Via's product finder quiz. I do it. I don't just get the same thing every time. I switch it up every time, but I also don't know what I want every time. So every time I take the product finder quiz, they give me personalized recommendations tailored to my needs. It takes 60 seconds, even less, to complete. So if you're 21 plus, check out the link to Via in our description. Use the code LIGHTYEARS to receive 15% off, free shipping on orders over $100. And if you're new to Via, get a free gift of your choice. After you purchase, they ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show. Tell them we sent you. Enhance your everyday with Via.
I want to talk conference finals for a little bit here.
Okay.
The overwhelming, interesting thing about the conference finals is 4 teams. I mean, the Knicks won a title in the 70s, but 3 other teams who've never won a title. They're also all young cores. It's none of the same. Is this kind of a changing of the guard?
I'm super excited. I think, I'm going to be honest, Sam, I think it is. I think it is because you've got 3 of the best young guards in the entire NBA, and SGA and Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson kind of young. And Halliburton. So that's actually, I mean 3. A third is Halliburton, and then Brunson is the 4th one, who seems more vet-ish. but New York, so that's good for the league. I don't know. I'm excited. I think it's the changing of the guard. I think it's good. Most exciting the matchup is going to be Ant versus SGA because I think Ant is someone that actually is going to want to go at SGA, and we don't have enough of that in the NBA outside of what we saw from Steph, LeBron, and KD and stuff like that. So I think outside of that, it's just they need an Ant versus SGA rivalry. They need an Ant in New York guard. Like, I guess I'm just saying it's Ant, right? That it feels like a lot of this is going to boil down to like his personality on this big stage is going to captivate audiences. I think that's really the changing of the guard. Can Ant take that step to be the face of the league? That's what I think. I think that's the most important storyline of the Final Four.
That's interesting. The one I'm most interested in is Knicks Pacers, and it's probably because I'm a '90s child and I grew up on little Pacers Knicks action. Shout out Reggie Miller with the choke symbol. Reggie Miller is my guy. By the way, I got a take for you. Tyrese Halliburton is the spiritual successor to Reggie Miller. They're not the same player, but they annoy people in the exact same way. Just a little.
I don't know why people hate Halliburton. I don't get it. Why is that?
He's kind of dorky, but he talks shit, and people are like, "Really, dude? You stop it?" That type of thing. It's similar to how Steph would bother people, but Halliburton talks way more shit than Steph ever did.
Yeah.
Steph just kind of celebrates when he makes shots, which, to be fair, annoys defenders. But Halliburton kind of does some real talking when he can. I'm excited for that matchup more so. I think I got the Pacers.
Oh, that's a real hipster take. Wow, you're more excited for Pacers Knicks than the Western. Wow.
Yeah. That's where my head's at. Maybe it's because I'm seeing all these NBA on NBC nostalgia ads. It's got the nostalgia flowing through my veins, waiting for Patrick Ewing to come out of the locker room, suit up too. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. Who are you rooting for in the conference finals? Then team, player, event, meteor hitting, all teams losing, so the Warriors have a better path next year.
Yeah.
I don't care. But what are you rooting for in the conference finals?
I touched on it earlier about Ant in New York, so I'm gonna go the other way this time. I am rooting against the Thunder. I was so not impressed with them in Denver. I know I'm a hater. I know I can't. The next generation annoys me. People are like, "Why do you hate the Thunder so much?" They annoy me. There's nothing really cool about them. To me, the style of play not that cool. Defense is awesome, but the offense, none of it is entertaining. They don't have a guy that I guess has is just super oh, he's so he's the guy. There's none of that. Even though SGA is going to be the MVP, I don't get that from him. Which is why I'm going to be rooting against them, against a team where they have that guy. They have Anthony Edwards, who it seems like is going to get ready to take the next step as a potential face of the league. And he has the personality for it, talks a bunch of... That's why. This is the shit. I can't believe you brought it up so quick. You read my mind. This is why. I don't know what's going on here, Sam. It's corny.
I've done this podcast with you a long time, brother. I knew you were dancing around why they annoyed you. I didn't. I knew exactly what you were implying. You just didn't want to say it out loud. For those who are listening, it's that corny post game press conference where they all stand behind SGA like it's high school. It doesn't bother me as much as it bothers you, but I can understand. I can understand why it would bother someone. It's like the same way I feel about Steph in the sense of Halliburton in the sense of I do not find him annoying, but I can understand how he gets under people's skins.
Halliburton seems to get under players' skins versus the Thunder.
Because he talks a lot of shit.
The big ball stance was cool. Objectively, the big ball stance was cool. That was like Halliburton has been more impressive to me, taking down again the Cavs, number 1 seed, 164 games. And you've got the Thunder had to go all 7 games against a Denver team that
I just want the record to show I called the Cavs frauds all year.
Shout out to our guys, Carter and Justin. Just
frauds.
That must have been brutal stuff. And the crazy thing about the Cavs, you got to imagine they might blow some of that stuff up. where it's like, man, that's rough. Anyway, it's not the chase down pod, but that is tough.
The other thing I will say is I did predict the Pacers back to the Eastern Conference Finals on our season preview episode. In fact, let me roll the tape so I can just sit here and kind of, suck myself off. No, just kidding.
I was gonna say, do you have it? I remember how big.
I understand why you want the Thunder to lose. I think I would too. Just I want Ant to get the bigger stage. Ant's just, of all the young guys, Ant's the only one who like makes it fun by going at guys and not like not being apologetic about it. Like that's kind of the fun thing. It's just like, I'm gonna dunk on your ass and you're stop me. You can. With that said, I think the Thunder win because they actually can't stop him. They have Caruso. At least if anyone questioned why the Warriors would want to trade for Caruso, I don't think they are now, because he's going to go from guarding Jokic to Ant. And he's probably going to do a good job on him. And if they don't put Caruso on him, they got Lou Dort. And they don't put Lou Dort on him, they got Jalen Williams and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They also got Kassan Wallace to throw out. I mean, they got, in theory, they have the most options to slow down a guy like Ant. I'm not saying they will, but in theory, if I was to say on paper, what team has a roster full of dudes who can make Ant's life hard, it'd be the Thunder, right? It'd probably be the Thunder. They got just a bunch of those defensive big guard wing types who can like get under him a little bit.
Do you think
they might not?
Do you think that game's going? It feels like you're saying the Thunder are going to win that one, like in like 5 or 6. You're saying they're markedly better.
I mean, we'll see what happens, but undoubtedly Thunder going 7 they're gonna drop the first or second game at home, because they're just the difference is going to be real. The difference in legs is going to be real. So anytime you don't win both home games when you have the first 2 at your place, it's automatically going to be a 6-game series. I think they're going 6. I got Thunder in 6.
Yeah. It's just a fascinating.
I would prefer the Wolves win, for the record, but just my gut tells me Thunder's in 6.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I also think that neither of them are losing to the Pacers or Knicks.
Oh no, we're getting the Pacers. I'm picking the Pacers to win it all, baby.
Oh,
I'm picking the Pacers to win it all.
I jokingly did that last night.
Hopium meets analysis.
The hopium meets analysis. I don't see it. It just, neither Knicks don't have enough offense and Pacers don't have enough defense. And then you look at the Western Conference teams and you're like, they kind of got it all. At least enough, right? The Thunder maybe don't have enough offense, but they got enough. And then the Wolves, do they have enough shooting? But I think there's enough there to win a championship, especially if they're not playing they're not playing the Warriors or the Raptors or like the Spurs or these like great teams. I don't think. Here's, maybe we get out of this with this, because we're gonna get the 7th different champion in 7 years. Samuel, is that good for the NBA? Do you like it?
No, I just want the Warriors to win every year. I don't have aggressive takes on that. I just kind of deal with it as what it is. I do want to talk about my Indiana Pacers, the agenda super team. They really are the agenda super team. Should have took Halliburton, had to go get Big Jim. Should have traded Big Jim for Miles Turner after you picked him. Didn't do that. Should have traded Kuminga for Siakam. Didn't do that. Well, them boys are playing. I also just want to throw it out there. Offensively, I love the way they play. They play beautiful basketball. They move the ball. I saw one of the more interesting stats I saw was the Boston Celtics average 230 passes a game. The Pacers average over 330. So the Knicks had some success guarding the Boston Celtics. I'm talking about before Tatum got hurt. Because once he got hurt, it was over. I don't know that tells us anything about how they're going to do with Indiana, because Indiana can actually exploit Cat Indiana can actually attack Brunson because they got 2 ball handlers. It'll be if they want to put Mikal Bridges on Halliburton, Nemby's going to go right at Jalen. I think they have a lot to attack there, and I think they're feistier on defense than they get credit for. I on the macro, I agree with you. Like you need the Caruso, Jaden McDaniels, like defensive dogs to win, but it's also a skill league, man. And you're watching the Warriors here. Like this is why I'm saying they need more offense. I think the Pacers can cobble together enough defense. Meanwhile, I know they can move the ball, and they got 5 dudes who can all hit 5 threes in a game. Like they just shoot it so well. They move it so well. They score at all 3 levels.
But here's the problem, though. Beautiful game doesn't work when things get weird, and we've seen it even with the Warriors. And things are going to get weird when you're going up against Josh Hart and OG. Mikal Bridges, renaissance on defense. I'm not picking the Knicks. I think the Pacers are going to win, but
what if I tell you I think Halliburton's better than Brunson? And I don't know, man. I
don't know. We'll see.
I was very close to saying he's better than Shea. That might get me laughed off the thing, but it's just like the dude's such a good passer, and they have 5. The thing about being a good passer is it matters in context of your team, but they happen to have a team where there's no weak link offensively. There's no one you can help off of, man.
I wouldn't say like Miles Turner and Pascal Siakam are good offensive players. I wouldn't say it's a it wouldn't surprise me if they miss big shots. Like
okay,
Andrew
but like
Nembhard's a young player. Like it just wouldn't surprise. No, okay, I get your point. Like the Thunder,
Nemby cooked everyone last playoffs.
Yeah, but it's like that stuff. Things get weird in the clutch, man. Like that's my thing. Like I have to see. Like
you mean how they walked down Cleveland twice in the clutch last round?
That's Cleveland. Right, but I think the Knicks have guys that I love. Like I love Josh Hart.
It's a fun clash of styles for sure.
I like the dirty. Maybe part of it is the Warriors were a dirty, disgusting defensive team, and I don't think they got enough credit for that this season. But the Knicks are. They are kind of nasty, and Jalen Brunson. I can't stand watching 80% of the bullshit that he does, but. You could argue that, like, if it's a 4-minute game, like you probably rather have Jalen Brunson on your side in that series, like versus probably anybody else in these. He's a very
comfortable half court. Like I'm gonna get to my spot. I'm gonna do what I want to.
He fried Drew Holiday, and as you're sitting here, it's like, is Drew Holiday just washed? And you're looking at the Pacers, like Pacers got nothing for him. I don't think. Like I don't in crunch time, like it's a close game. Like I don't think they're gonna have anything for him versus. That defense is, maybe they take Cat off the floor, but they are going to be able to defend that Pacers team. And all of a sudden, it's a Miles Turner 3-pointer on the. I don't know. I think I'll live with that versus Jalen Brunson midi pull. Like that thing's going in. So I'm picking the Pacers because I enjoy watching them more than Knicks. Knicks are kind of hard to watch, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks win. Like just these ugly games in the playoffs, and like that beautiful game stuff doesn't work. Like it's not going to work when it comes to Game 5, Game 6. Game 7.
It works when all 5 guys can score the ball. I think it works. By the way, here's a fun Nembhard stat for you. 27 career playoff games. They obviously went to the conference finals last year, and now they're starting the conference finals. Those are his only playoff games, right? 49% from 3 for his career in the playoffs. Just he might be a new Jamal Murray. You know, like how Jamal Murray, it always felt like he was way better in the playoffs than regular season. Maybe it's a Canadian thing. Is Nembhard Canadian?
Can I tell you? Yes, he is. Can I tell you? I know you asked that sarcastically. Can I tell you who was drafted 3 picks ahead of Andrew Nembhard? Can I tell you?
Patrick Baldwin Jr., baby.
Fucking ridiculous.
All I'm saying is this would be the year for them to find this year's Andrew Nembhard. Figure out who this year's Andrew Nembhard. Maybe it's his brother. His brother is in the draft and projected to go in the second round. Go get a Nembhard.
Unbelievable.
Because that he actually, like, almost the perfect example of what we're talking about, like wanting that that combo guard who plays behind Steph to keep his minutes down, but also can play a little bit with him. That might be the move. Yeah, his brother, Ryan Nembhard, coming out this year.
We're now on all types of tangents, but do you think Steve Kerr loves Andrew Nembhard coming out of college?
I don't think he disliked him.
I think
Steve would give him the space to
maybe
attack the way that Rick Carlisle does and live with the fact that 1 in 3 decisions are going to be like, oh no. The answer is no.
I mean, that might be the right way to answer it. It's just the drafting stuff is interesting because what does Mike Dunleavy do? Because it felt like Bob Myers was always, let's pick the tools guy. Patrick Baldwin's really big. He's really long. He was a top lottery guy projected. He could shoot the ball. Like, let's go get him. Like, swinging, like big swing. Nembhard is not a big swing player, right? Like, you draft him, you kind of get a good player, but maybe he doesn't have high ceiling. It's like Pods, right? But it turns out Nembhard does have a really high ceiling, way higher than we thought. And so maybe the circle back around is like, maybe Pods is going to be something like that. Maybe he takes a big leap in his 3rd season, right? So, because that's what we're seeing from Nembhard.
I do think Pods is going to be better next year. I just does better mean he's just 5% better than what he is right now? Or is next year going to be the year in which the jumper becomes a little consistent? I don't know. I do have one thing to say to you before we get out of here. I know why Giannis is here.
Yeah. He signed his contract with the Warriors.
He is at the Google Developer Conference.
Boo.
Tech. Hey, historically, wanting to be a tech bro has worked out well for the Warriors. So maybe that's the answer.
That's so funny. Look at him. He's hyping the crowd up. Dude, this guy is hilarious. That's awesome. That's actually awesome. That's actually amazing. Good for Giannis.
Let's end it there.
Didn't know he was a tech guy. All right, let's get out of here.
Oh, the Warrior for sure.